From coaching the Chiefs to the Glasgow Warriors to leading the Wallabies, coaching in Japan, and now he's coming home. Dave Rennie has been named the All Blacks coach. So why did he stand out, and can he steer us to victory at the Rugby World Cup? That is the question. Joining me this morning is NZR Chair and former captain of the AB's David Kirk. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Good to see you. How did I know how we know how Dave told his family, but I wanted to know how you told Dave, or who told Dave.
Yeah, I rang Dave the morning. It was about 10:15 yesterday morning. We'd done a very extensive process leading up to it, and he'd been through all of that, including a nearly 4-hour interview the day before. And I picked up the phone to him at 10:15. He picked up pretty quickly when I called, and I was very pleased to tell him. He was quite. It wasn't like a big celebration. It was more like, wow. You know, there was this feeling of like, wow, I've had a great honour, but also a bit of a burden loaded on me. I've got a lot to do and a lot to live up to. So he was feeling quite reflective.
What got him over the line in your mind? Was it what other people had said about him and what other people had said about Jamie Joseph, or his vision for what the All Blacks can be?
Well, it was a combination of things. We went to the environments and saw the coaches performing with their teams, so we had a very good understanding of how they interacted with the players and the assistant coaches and others. We had 5 very detailed referee discussions, took references from 5 referees, very detailed about their rugby and about who they were and how they handle pressure and all sorts of different things. Then we had this long interview with them. We covered a lot of things in that. But in particular, and both candidates were very strong in both these regards.
But what tipped it?
What tipped it was just Dave's international experience as much as anything. He'd coached all over the world. So that would be one. I'll come to the second one in a minute. So he's coached all over the world, as you said in the introduction. Very familiar with Northern Hemisphere rugby as well. And the game is changing a lot. And the Northern Hemisphere, in some cases, we don't like to say it, but it's true, are leading.
My dad says it must be true.
Yeah, well, there you go. You know, France and to some extent Ireland and England are actually very good teams. And they're leading, and there's things we can learn from them. So people who've been in that environment were valuable. But probably even more important than that, it was very obvious to us that he had an understanding of the game that was fit for purpose for us, for New Zealand, for our skills, for our natural abilities, and where we come from, this little island islands in the bottom of the world. And he was able to articulate what it would take to win in world rugby.
David, Jamie Joseph has now missed the job 3 times.
I think twice.
Twice?
I think. Yeah.
What does it mean for him?
Well, that'll be for Jamie to determine, but I spoke to him yesterday as well, and he's a very valuable part of the New Zealand coaching environment. Obviously the Highlanders value him highly, and New Zealand Rugby values him highly as well. He took the New Zealand 15 to Europe last year very successfully. They had virtually no training together. He was able to build that into a cohesive, successful team that won both their matches. So he's a very senior, highly capable coach in our environment, and we want to continue to give him opportunities to grow and develop, hopefully in the New Zealand environment.
Have you set any KPIs for Dave yet?
Not explicitly, but I think it's fairly obvious.
Win the games and then win the World Cup.
Yeah, the whole of New Zealand sets the KPIs, don't
And are we like sure we're locked in now? He is our coach for the Rugby World Cup. We're not going to go switcheroo anymore?
He's our guy.
Okay, thank goodness for that. What about the assistant coaches? So he's gonna pick who they are.
In consultation with New Zealand Rugby, and that's a bit of a change. Previously, the head coach has nominated their own assistant coaches even before the interview process, and the selection panel has had to deal with, okay, these are the 4 or 5 people who are coming. Do we like this 5 or this 5? We're just going just the head coach, and when we've got the head coach in place, we will discuss with that head coach who he's got in mind for.
Could they be internationals?
They could be internationals.
Could be anyone.
We don't have a closed mind.
And in terms of the fact he's going to have to still be in Japan for a wee while, did you try and buy him? Can you buy him out of the contract? Was that a consideration?
It wasn't really, because it's not practical for the Japanese, and actually Dave didn't want that either. He's got an obligation. He feels absolutely committed to his team, and he's the sort of person who follows through on what he's been promised he'd do. So he he will continue to coach Kobe through until they are knocked out.
He said he's got no loyalties. Was that part of the appeal?
What he meant was, specifically in that, he meant he's got no specific New Zealand Super Rugby team or provincial loyalties. He's not engaged in any one team.
Is that an advantage?
Yes and no. I don't think that. I mean, I think being a clean mind and taking an analytical approach to who you want to appoint is important. But I don't think there's any evidence that the previous coaches have been biased towards any region. They've always wanted to pick the best players in New Zealand to win Test matches.
What about the CEO job?
CEO job.
So yesterday was the coach, tomorrow the CEO?
Well, recently we've also had the Chief Financial Officer and the Chief Commercial Officer, so we're filling the chairs. It's not. I'd say the CEO is not imminent, but I think we have a lot of irons in the fire, and to some extent, the pieces on the board are changing a bit as we fit other people into it. We know when we appoint a CFO and a Chief Commercial Officer, they bring a whole bunch of capabilities that we may not need to sort of reproduce in a CEO. So the brief changes a little bit as we put pieces on the board.
Just finally, and I want to get a sense of how your confidence in Dave and the team now. What is your message to our competitors out there?
We're coming for you. We've got a bit of work to do. It'll take a bit of building, and Dave has said to me, he's said to all of us in the panel that he's very excited about the South African tour because he's going to have the team together for 6-7 weeks in the cauldron of competitive intensity, and that's exactly what we need in the lead up to the World Cup next year.